Good evening. As we continue in the Gemaras about the giving of the Torah, the Gemara says, "B'shah shekdimu Yisrael nasta l'nishma." That when the Jews at Mount Sinai said, "We will do," before they said, "We will listen," Yotzasa Baskol, a voice came out from heaven, va'amra, and said, "Mi gila lebanai roz zeh." Who revealed to my children this secret? Lashon, terminology, Shemalachi Ashares Mishtamshim Bo, with which the angels use. So the Tiferes Yosef from Ishbitz quotes his grandfather as explaining, why are we praising angels? Oh, the Gemara brings in a pasuk, Baruch Hu Hashem Malachav Giborei Koach. Hashem blesses the angels who are very powerful. Osei Dvaro Lishmoa Bekol Devaro, they do his word to hearken to the sound of his word. That the angels also, we see, first do and then listen. So again, the Ishbitzer asked, why are we praising the angels about being giborim, strong? When it comes to a person, we understand that strength is important. Because when a person tries to do something, often there can be various factors that try to prevent him from fulfilling Hashem's will. And therefore, a person needs to have gvura, that inner strength, to break through all of those forces that are attempting to prevent him from fulfilling the will of Hashem. And then he's called a gibor. As it says in Pirkei Avos, Zehu gibor, hakovesh es yitzra, who is strong? One who overcomes his inclination. But angels, they don't have any evil inclination. They don't have free will. So how and why does gvura play a role? And the Ishbitzer explained, based on a Gemara in Maseches Tainis, with reference to rain, that we say every single morning and afternoon and evening when we're davening, we mention the fact that Hashem brings the rain in the bracha in the Shmona Esrei about Gvura. Why is bringing rain in the pasuk of Gvura? Because rain doesn't fall in all places equally. But Hashem directs the rain where he wants it to go. The concept of Gvura from a Kabbalistic standpoint is the idea of constriction and direction. Chesed is something that is given without limitation. Gvura is what gives it shape and definition. The malachim, the angels, their function in existence is to direct whatever Hashem wants to bestow onto the world, directed where Hashem wants to go. And the malachim are quite aware that they don't have on their own any power, but everything that they do is merely to be the ones who direct the power from Hashem. He says that's why the Gemara says about the malachim that first the malachim do and then they listen. Because when the malachim do, that just means the fact that the malachim, the angels, have the recognition that all they are conduits of Hashem's power. When it comes to Klal Yisrael, it's different, because we don't naturally have that understanding. We have to learn the Torah, understand the will of Hashem, and then we can start fulfilling the will of Hashem and directing things where they need to go. But things were different in that respect by Matan Torah, by the giving of the Torah. Because at that point in time, the holiness of the Torah was instilled so strongly into the Jewish people that they did not have the ability to stray from it whatsoever. As the Gemara says later on, that each word that Hashem spoke, the entire world filled with perfume. Meaning when Hashem said, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem your God, the entire world was filled with the concept of Hashem's unity. When Hashem said, don't murder, nobody was angry anymore. When Hashem said, do not commit adultery, the entire feeling of lust left every single person. So at that time, all of a sudden, Klal Yisrael at Har Sinai became like the Malachim. They also were vessels to carry out the will of Hashem, because they too were just completely infused with the will of Hashem and essentially had given up any sense of self. Rav Kook explains, and it actually fits in nicely with what the Ishbitzer said, that when a person engages in an activity that does not fit with his natural inclination, so the beginning of that activity is very difficult. He has to learn to understand what to do. Eventually he figures it out. But things that are completely natural to a person, they don't need to learn. But they can immediately go straight into doing without learning beforehand. And actually, if that to which they have a natural affinity is something which makes them feel uplifted, is enjoyable, so that uplifting and that joy can really spread through the person very quickly and really build the person up. So even though fulfillment of the Torah and learning of the Torah and deepening one's understanding of the Torah is something which is dependent on a person's bechira, a person's free will, that's only when it comes to details. But in the essential nature of the Torah, whether it comes to learning of Torah, the concept of learning of Torah, meaning the fact that each and every person has a natural connection to Torah, or when it comes to the fulfillment of the Torah, meaning that everybody feels somewhere deep inside that it is that spiritual connection which is going to build themselves up in life, that is something which is natural to each and every Jewish person. And therefore, just like the Malachim, just like the angels, have instilled within them to be the ones who carry out Hashem's will, so too when it comes to Klal Yisrael, we are angelic in that way. Yes, subsequently listening and learning, that is something which helps to enhance that which is naturally within us right from the start, in a way similar to the angels. We should all be zocha on Shavuos to get in touch with this natural affinity that is within each and every single one of us.